Hi there, this is Adorable Andrew, and we're still talking about SimCity. So if you haven't figured it out by now, I really love this game. But not to worry, we're almost done. In the next episode, I'll be doing a full-on review. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the scenarios. The scenario cities each have some kind of impending crisis, whether it be crime, traffic, monster attack, or nuclear meltdown. They give you anywhere from 5 to 10 years to complete the scenario and to restore the city to a thriving metropolis. And naturally, some are easier than others. Bern, for example, is grappling with traffic congestion. The answer is really quite simple: replace the roads with rails. And most, if not all, scenario cities have awful infrastructure, so it's rather essential that you deal with it. If you don't get rid of excess roads or rails, you'll end up paying for it, and literally, it will come out of your budget at the end of the year. So it's a good idea to demolish all unnecessary fire stations as well. It's amazing how counterintuitive this strategy is. I can't see it working in real life. But notice how pretty this city looks. This is after restoring it. And it's well on its way to being restored to a thriving metropolis. And then there's San Francisco. It's not as intimidating as it sounds. Yes, you have to deal with an earthquake, which can sometimes destroy one of the power plants, but once you put out the fires resulting from the quake, all you have to do is fix the infrastructure and deal with crime. I think the game might be sucking up to me at this point, because it's telling me I should run for president. First it tells me I have a long career ahead of me as a politician, and now it's telling me I could be president. Are you trying to flatter me? Well, I can't really blame you. Detroit seems like it should be one of the easiest scenarios because all you have to do is deal with some of the crime, but in fact it is one of the hardest. The city doesn't grow properly because the RCI balance, in other words, the residential, commercial, and industrial balance, is all out of order. It's not obeying the 2-1-1 rule like we talked about in the Megalopolis tutorial. And the crime is extremely high. Even when you think you've dealt with the crime, you keep having to build more police stations, and this takes a toll on your budget unless the city is growing, which is hard to do. And then there's the nuclear meltdown in Boston. It's not quite as bad as it seems. It's limited to one area of the map, so as long as you remember to connect power to this island, which is actually crucial, because you still need those areas to be functioning. They don't function quite as good, obviously, as parts that aren't affected by the meltdown, but you still need to connect power, and as long as you do that, it's really not too bad. Mind you, the infrastructure is a nightmare, so you really have to work on that if you want to make some kind of positive difference in the city. Those curvy roads may look impressive, but they're really nothing special. You need to get rid of those if you intend on beating this particular scenario. Especially the ones that are leading out into nowhere. Leading into oblivion. And then there's flooding, and flooding can be rather annoying in SimCity, but the funny thing about Rio is that as long as you bulldoze the shorelines, you won't have any trouble with flooding. I have literally beaten this scenario without any floods ever occurring. And you can do this with any of your cities. You can bulldoze the shoreline or just build parks on them. But it works. And again, the way to deal with fire is to demolish everything around it, so that strategy works pretty well. And I'm going to go ahead and bulldoze the rest of the shoreline so no more flooding happens. course, you have to be somewhat careful about not demolishing any of the residential zones or anything that's close to the water. And then there's Las Vegas. I don't think there's a more annoying scenario than this one. I mean, it's really hard. The UFO attacks can happen so frequently that you won't even have time to restore the city. On a couple of occasions, I've been lucky enough that the UFO attacks only happened like once, but rarely are you so fortunate. And while the casinos do bring in an additional income at the end of the year, they seem to be the first thing to go when the UFOs arrive. They have some kind of vendetta against those casinos. And just in case you were wondering what a monster attack looked like, I unleashed Bowser on Las Vegas just for kicks and giggles. I think it's hilarious that one of the scenarios is, literally Godzilla attacking in Tokyo, Well, I mean, not literally. It is Bowser, but still. In any case, thanks so much for watching. I'm Adorable Andrew and hope to catch up with you in the next episode.